Welcome in, everyone. We are live. We're trying something new. We toyed doing this last year and it just didn't work out, but we are trying it this year. Live post game shows. We are all on all the same channels that you listen to our normal No One Asked Us episodes. So thank you for joining. Thank you for tuning in. Get in the chat. Let us know what you think. What did you like? What didn't you like? Not going to be a lot of those tonight because it was a 103-65 Illini win tonight, Illinois over Monmouth. I'm Craig Choate. That is Logan Lee across the screen. Going to be a good one tonight. I know. We toyed with the idea of doing a halftime show instead of a post-game show because this game was over early. For those of you just joining for the first time, thank you for tuning in. We are Craig and Logan. We do a weekly show. No one asked us. I'm sure most of you probably know that. And we're starting to do these post-game shows that are getting a lot of traction. So we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think. We want fans and people that watch the game to get involved, get in the chat, and give us something to talk about. What did you like? We might read your comments and all that stuff. So thank you once again for joining. Follow us on our social media. If you're watching this on YouTube, give us a like, give us a subscribe, all that good stuff. This will also be in podcast form for those that aren't watching live that can go back and watch later. But yes, Illinois wins 103-65. Entertaining game, fun to watch. Logan, initial thoughts from you on this game? Anything other than nearly perfect?
Yeah, I didn't learn shit.
Not safe for work language 5 minutes in
here. So about 10 minutes into the game, I thought to myself, okay, Illinois is obviously playing really well, but this Monmouth team is really, really bad. But I was kind of surprised to see that they're the best of the three teams we've played so far on KenPom, which was like, okay, well, yeah, I mean, we didn't really learn anything. It's the same thing we've been seeing. There's a absolute dominant scorer on this team. Terrence Shannon can do literally anything he wants with the basketball against some of these teams. And there's some supporting pieces around that. We got a little bit of, a different role. Different players are stepping up in different games. I mean, it was Coleman 3 games ago. Jay Nepps had a game tonight. I mean, it's going to be a lot of that mix and match. Who's the hot hand, that type of thing. But other than that, didn't really learn a lot tonight. But my biggest takeaway just to start this thing, they didn't lose, because there are several teams tonight, ranked teams, that did lose these type of games to far less opponents. So to not only not lose, but to win by 40 or 38, that's a win to me. It's obviously a win, but it's a big win.
Okay, I'm glad you're happy, Logan. I'm glad you're happy. Let's run through the stats as we start most of these shows.
Are you not?
Terrence, yes, I'm ecstatic.
Great.
Terrence Shannon, 30 points, 9 of 14 from the field, 4 of 9 from 3, 8 rebounds, 4 assists, all around fantastic game. Only played 23 minutes, which I think is huge because it's going to be a big weekend in Vegas for this team. Only other scorer, or 2 other scorers in double figures. Jaden Epps had an outstanding game. Shot the ball great. 8 of 12 from the field, 5 of 9 from 3. And Dane Danja, 15 more points for him, 4 rebounds for him. No one else in double figures. Melendez with 9, Meyer with 3, Hawkins with 6, Guy Clark with 7, Sincere Harris with 6. Brandon Lee did score 2 points, also fouled out in 8 minutes of play, and Ty Rogers with 4 points. Illinois out-rebounded Monmouth 35-21. 3-point shooting was a concern for the first 2 games. Illinois shot 42.4% tonight, 14 of 33 from 3. So all around, a pretty good game. Checking out our next little segment here. 3 keys for the game tonight. First one was the quick start. This team struggled with that in the second game, particularly against Kansas City, and did not see that whatsoever tonight. They were up 8-0 in 45 seconds. They hit 2 threes. They started 4 of 4 from 3, 5 of 5 from the field to start the game in the first 4.5 minutes. Just a massive, massive key for this team tonight. And I don't know if you noticed it. First play of the game, the first pass of the game went to Matthew Meyer to go make a play. Did you notice that?
Yeah. They were
He
going through
found
him
he
every
found
time down the floor.
Shannon in the corner for a three. So I think tonight was a night that they wanted to get Matthew Meyer going. He played better. Still not what you want to see, but he did play a little bit better. The second key we have written down here is the energy. I just love everything I'm seeing from this team from an energy standpoint. I think if they come with this energy every game, they're going to be tough to beat by anybody. Like they can beat anybody if they even play hard. Because tonight Illinois still had 18 turnovers tonight. If you have 18 turnovers against a average Division I team, you're probably going to lose. 18 turnovers and you still win the game because you got up 62 shots. The other team only took 49. I love the energy and effort from this team through 2 games.
It's nice to see. Just because we were so. This is what I was expecting. I was expecting this type of team, but it's nice to just actually see it in action because I this weekend's going to be tough, and I'm just glad that they're getting some of these guys going, building the confidence, playing that well, playing that hard, even against the teams like Monmouth, teams like Eastern Illinois and Kansas City. I mean, if they can keep up that tenacity that we use, the word we've used before, on the defensive end, on the offensive end, there's a lot to love about this team. We'll see how that holds up against better opponents. But to this point in the season, I love the energy, the tenacity on defense. They're going for it every single time down the floor. I mean, eventually one of these days, Sincere Harris is going to he's going to jump over somebody, and the roof on that place is absolutely going to come off.
Did he try
It hasn't
tonight? I didn't see it tonight.
He almost had a fast break that the other guy got in the way of it. So I just love it. I just love the energy this team has. The effort they're showing. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's wonderful.
Yep. Like it can win some games. Because I don't think many teams keep up with this team, their energy. And honestly, this was a concern of yours, the depth. I think this team's pretty deep.
Yeah.
9 deep legitimately, and 10 once Luke
Yeah.
Goody comes back. And that energy that we were just talking about leads into key number 3, the defense. I mean, they press pretty much the whole game. Right? Like they played that full court press with Coleman up top for majority of the game, I feel like.
Yeah, especially the first half. I think they did back down a little bit in the second half, but yeah, for the most part, they're running that defense, and it looks a little different when Coleman's not on the floor. When he picked up his second foul, they kind of had to change that up again a little bit. I think they were trying to run it with a little bit with Matthew Meyer at the top of that, and a little bit with somebody else was running there too. I don't remember, Ty Rogers maybe. So it's not quite as effective, I don't think, when Coleman's not on the floor. But if he stays out of foul trouble, he'll be on the floor a lot. But when you pick up 2 fouls in the first 10 minutes like he did tonight, then you're obviously going to have to change some things up because Dane can't run that spot. So they're going to have to use somebody else to be able to do that.
Yeah. 24 turnovers for Monmouth tonight. Illinois forced the Hawks into 24 turnovers and scored 30 points off of those 24 turnovers. 18 fast break points for Illinois tonight. They were 37 of 62 from the field for 60%, and I already touched on threes, 42% from there. They had how many turnovers at half? 16 maybe turnovers at half for the Hawks. So defense, major key tonight. Again, this team was just a lot worse than I expected them to be.
Yeah.
I'm going to be completely honest. I expected a closer game than last Monday and Tuesday or Friday, but that just did not happen. All right, like I said, we are live here. We do have a handful of people in here. If you're in here, give us some thoughts. What did you think tonight? What did you like? What didn't you like? How are you feeling heading into this weekend? It's a huge weekend. UCLA on Friday, and then either Virginia or Baylor on Sunday. So we do have one comment already from Brian Crawford. Shout out, Brian. Can Big Ten level players stop TSJ? Not when he's playing like he did tonight.
No, and I'll be honest, I don't know that there are many players in the Big Ten that can.
Yeah.
Some of them, some will. There will be teams that have guys that can get in front of him. But no, if he plays like he does tonight, he is an absolute handful for any defense. He can get to the basket. He can shoot. Now, granted, tonight they were leaving a lot of guys wide open.
Wide open. Yeah.
A lot of those shots in the first half were absolutely wide open.
Yeah.
So he's not going to get that every night in the Big Ten. I know it's only 3 games and they're 3 games against not very good teams, but he looks to me like he's one of the 5 best players in this conference.
Mhm.
And the other 4 are all 6'10" or taller.
Right.
I mean, he might be the best wing in the whole conference. Yeah, there'll be teams that can find ways to shut him down, but it's going to be few and far between. I think he's
Just
that
trying to
good.
think of the favorites here in the Big Ten. Indiana, Jackson Davis is not going to him. Maybe Race Thompson
No,
guards him. Um,
yeah,
but I feel like he can get around Race Thompson. Race is more of a big. Am I right in that? I think he's more of a
yeah,
big.
yeah.
Iowa does not have anybody that can keep up with him. Michigan will probably have a freshman on him. Probably Howard's son will probably guard him or someone like that. I'll take TSJ over a freshman any day.
Hmm.
And I was impressed with Michigan State Friday night. Their game
Yeah,
against Gonzaga.
against
They
Gonzaga.
guarded
Yeah.
well. So they might have some people, but yeah, it's going to be tough to stop Terrence Shannon Jr. when he's shooting like he was tonight. If he's not shooting, you can sag off of him a little bit and clog the paint up. But if he's shooting like he did tonight, it's going to be very tough to stop Terrence Shannon Jr. Too bad he didn't come here out of high school and we got 4 years of this. That would have been awesome. All right.
That would have been an electric factory of a team if he was here for those other years.
Who's your everyday guy of the game? Logan Lee.
Well, I mean, easy picks would obviously be the guys that scored 30 and 20 points. I liked what I was seeing from RJ Melendez.
Okay.
He was the guy that we've mentioned the past couple games we haven't really seen much out of. And he showed up tonight. Scored 9 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. Had a couple really nice plays in the first half early on in the game to get a steal on a fast break. I think there was a couple different things that I just right off the bat, like within the first few minutes, that was one of the first things I wrote down was RJ Melendez. I was not necessarily worried, but we just haven't seen much out of him these first couple games. And he was one that I was kind of high on this offseason as somebody that could really take that sophomore leap. And we hadn't really seen it yet. And not that tonight's performance was an indication that he's going to make a huge leap, but this team is full of guys that can do a lot of different things. And he is one of them. And when he, is contributing like he was tonight, as I said, almost double figures in points, and then to fill up the stat sheet with those other numbers too. Had a couple turnovers, but I liked what I was seeing out of him. So I was really happy to see that. Just that he was able to, contribute a little bit more tonight than he has the first 2 games.
Can I take a cop out here? If one of
You
us has
go.
to take Shannon, right?
Or Jaden Epps.
I won't, though. It's too easy. I'll stick with Sky Clark. I thought he was going to have an outstanding game in the first half because he had 5 points and 5 assists with like 6 minutes left in the first half. Didn't do much in the box score after that, but he did end with a 30 plus minus, a plus 30 plus minus, 6 assists and 7 points. So he had a pretty good game. On his efficiency, which I talked about in our weekly show yesterday. I talked about these analytics that they've got on the stat broadcast. Efficiency is basically all the good things you did minus the bad things. It's points, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks minus missed shots and turnovers. And he was third, fourth on the team in efficiency. Your guy Melendez was right above him at 13. Sky's efficiency was 12. So pretty good game for Sky. And that move, the layup he made in the first half, where he drove and just muscled his way through. That he needs to do. He needs to get to the rim, and he's so explosive. And I'm very confident in this team with the ball in his hands and him running the point still.
Neither him and I kind of talked about this on Friday, but neither him nor Jaden Epps look like freshmen
No,
out there. And that's what you need. That's why you play these early games against these type of opponents. They need to build up the confidence. These guys need to play together. They're going to be on the floor together a lot. They don't look like freshmen. Now that will obviously shift. There will be plenty of freshman mistakes as we get into tougher competition, get to the heart of this season. But so far, especially Sky tonight, it just does not look like a freshman, and that's a nice thing to have, because when you are running freshman point guards out there, you want to have some, you know, some confidence there that they're able to be mature enough to handle it. And so far, the return is positive on both of those guys, I think.
the Sky Clark Dane Danger pick and roll in the first half was lethal.
Dane
Absolutely
about
lethal.
murdered a guy without even doing anything.
Didn't move. Didn't move. Took a guy's head off.
Did
Yeah.
not
And then the
move.
next time he got called for a foul.
Yeah, he eventually
Uh,
got called. He did it a few times, and they didn't call anything. And
yeah.
then eventually he moved a little bit. They whistled him for it.
Looking more at the box score here, I just kind of anything that catches my eye. Minutes played here, I think, is important. Yeah, Ty Rogers with 28. Terrence Shannon played 23, and so did Jaden Epps. But Illinois had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 guys between 14 and 23 minutes. 8 guys between 14 and 23 minutes. So everyone's playing similar minutes. We don't. It's not like in years past where your starters play 30 plus minutes. Trent Frazier plays 40 minutes in a game. Like, because they have so many guys going and they're running and full court pressing, you're going to see 9 guys routinely play 15 plus minutes, and you saw that tonight. And I think that's says a lot about this team early in the season. And I know it was a blowout. It was a 40-point game, so you're able to play these guys more. But um, I said earlier we were concerned about depth going in. I don't think that's an issue. I think through 3 games, I know the competition's terrible. Like, we haven't played anybody, but that's probably a good thing because you're getting these guys confidence, which I
Yeah.
thought might be a big thing for Matthew Meyer tonight. I thought he might play 25 plus minutes and some scrub time to see some shots fall and stuff like that. But he played 20 minutes and he only had 5 points. So he's still struggling. Need to get
I
him. Maybe he has a coming out party against Baylor this weekend.
I don't know what's going on there. I don't know. I'm not
Underwood
sure
said
if we'll
on
know.
Friday he's got a guard. He's not playing
Yeah,
good defense.
and that certainly will play into it, but he's not doing much.
Yeah. Um, the good and the bad. A lot of good, a lot of good. But what's your one good here?
I like that they're spreading the love. I know we kind of
Yeah.
talked about it. You kind of touched on the minutes here. 10 different guys scored for the Illini tonight. Um, Everybody except for Paxton Warden and Connor Servin, I think, got to the point column. Um, and you still had a guy score 30, another guy score 20, another guy score 15, but everybody else was pretty spread, throughout the point total at least. So, as we just talked about, that's kind of the nice thing about these early games is you can kind of get the guys' confidence up, and especially the freshmen playing together. So, you know, getting those type of minutes, getting Brandon Lieb minutes. Love that he fouled out. Love that he fouled out. I don't know why he needed to foul out, but I love that he did in 8 minutes. It wasn't quite a trillion. It was far from a trillion, but that would have to make Mark Titus proud. Yeah, I love that they were spreading the love around a little bit. I was really hoping Terrence Shannon would go for 50. I was really
Yeah.
hoping he would.
What's
Definitely
the?
slowed down in the second half, but
Oh, I wonder when the last time an Illinois player scored 50. I know
I was looking it up earlier. I don't.
Paul hit 40. Paul hit
Yeah,
43.
and Malcolm Hill was close to 40, I think, once too.
Yeah.
Kofi had 38.
Yeah. You don't have it written down here. What's your bad?
I mean, it's the same thing you're going to talk about. It's the turnovers. It's sloppy.
Yeah.
There's still some flaws in how this team plays a little bit. They're still a little out of control at times. There's still some errant passing. There's still some freshman mistakes. This stuff that will continue to be the case for a while. Eventually, they might clean some of it up, but they still had 18 turnovers tonight, and as you mentioned, they still won by 40. So um, it's a little sloppy still, but that's really the biggest negative I think you can find from this game, other than the Matthew Meyer conundrum. I think that's probably the other big negative. Um, but got to cut down on that. I mean, Brad was still fired up about things, even though they were up whatever in that timeout. They love to show that.
Yeah, that was
So
uh that was
he
interesting.
was he was using it as a coaching moment,
Yeah,
as a teaching
apparently.
moment. So
Apparently. Yeah,
uh,
my good was the quick start. I loved the quick start. I think if this team can do that routinely, it's going to be hard for teams to come back on this team when they're playing and they have the ability to speed teams up. I think that's going to happen a lot for Illinois. They're going to speed teams up and they're going to get them out of control. I think we could see a couple more games like this season where 100 or 90 plus points to 50 or 60. And it might even happen to a couple Big Ten teams. There are a couple Big Ten teams that I could see Illinois totally just taking out of their game and speeding them up and getting out to an early 10, 15-point lead and just never looking back. And that's something too that we haven't seen in the past. Illinois has
yeah,
had trouble stomping on people's throats. I think
yeah,
this team might be able to do that. They got some
yeah,
dogs. They
they
got some
do.
guys that don't want to quit. And I think tonight we saw a glimpse of what could happen a couple more times this season.
Yeah, and I think that comes too from a lot of the length and versatility that this team
Yeah.
has. I mean, we've just grown so accustomed to having 6 foot 6'1" guards and one post player, and like you're just limited in what you're able to do defensively from that standpoint. Yeah, Trent Frazier was a great defender,
Hmm.
but he couldn't guard anybody over 6'3" um, sufficiently. So just the ability to not only play that good of defense and as you talked about, kind of shut teams down at the end or whatever, just the ability to do some of those things and have the link to do that is going to go a long way with this team.
Yep. My bad. The same as you. The turnovers. This is a young team. This is a team that 7 of the 9 contributors on this team are new to the orange and blue. Coleman Hawkins and RJ Melendez being the only two that um, are holdovers from last year's roster. So I don't know whether it's the young guys just transitioning to the college game or just gelling with each other and still not being on the same page when you think a guy's going to take a backdoor cut, but then he pops back out and you throw it to the back door and he's not there. I don't know if it's communication or what, but what do we say? 18 turnovers.
Yeah. That's just going to
Yeah.
come with playing more, playing
Yeah.
together more, being on the court more.
Yep.
That's all that is, and that's stuff that will sort itself out eventually. But you're going to run into that. It's early season stuff. It's you know these are games you should win, and you did. You won this one very convincingly.
Yep.
Um, just got to see how well it translates into tougher competition, because Friday is a little more different than what we saw tonight.
Yep, it's coming. It's coming. Again, we are live here for a couple more minutes, not much longer. But for those of you that are watching, if you have any questions or comments, put them in the chat. We'll read them out loud. We'll leave a couple minutes here at the end to get to your questions or thoughts on the game tonight or what you want to see this weekend. Everyone wants to see a 2-0 weekend. Would you be happy with a 1-1? Would you be okay with an 0-2 but 2 competitive losses? What do you want to see this weekend from this team? Starting on Friday night, UCLA. Is this the 9:30, 8:30 Central?
Yeah,
8:30
9:30
Central,
Eastern.
9:30 tip, which will probably get pushed back because it follows Baylor, Virginia, which no college basketball game ends in the window that they assume it's going to end. So it's going to be a very late night for those of us on the East Coast. But yeah, UCLA was playing tonight. Do we have an update?
Yeah, I was just looking at they're up 81-50.
Also, I did not turn this game on once tonight, but the Commanders beat the Eagles. WTF?
Did
Where did
not
that
even look
come
at that.
from?
Okay, there's a football game on tonight.
32-21, Washington beats Philly. Yeah, okay, 81-50, not close. I didn't think it would be. What do they got scoring wise? This is gonna be tough. I mean, I don't think UCLA is as good as last year or the year they went to the national championship, but they're still a top 10 team. They've got 6 guys in double figures.
Yep.
Jaime Jaquez is still there. Tiger Campbell, 11 points, 7 assists. Miles Johnson is gone. Who is the other guy? Jaime Jaquez and Juzang, Johnny Juzang. He is not there. He went pro. But Amari Bailey, I think is his name, a freshman, a very good freshman, 11 points, 5 assists tonight. So it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Touched on it in our weekly show, but what do you think heading into the weekend after tonight? I know tonight we didn't learn a whole lot, but
No.
how are you feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling all right. I
Okay.
really am. I really like what I'm seeing from this team. I think there's, as we've said, there's going to be a lot of growing pains along the way. And there's going to be a lot of bumps in the road, but I really like what I'm seeing from this team. It's different than what we've seen in the past, but they have a lot of weapons. There are a lot of guys that can score points on this team, and their length and versatility on the defensive end is going to be trouble for a lot of teams. Um, I think the biggest issue they're going to have is when they go up against some of these Big Ten teams that have some of the best post players in the country.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's something Illinois can stop. I don't know if Dane can hang with Hunter Dickinson. I don't know. Coleman's your best shot there, and that's my biggest concern. So you're gonna run into some issue, I think, with those type of teams. But I think Illinois can really have their way with a lot of the middle tier and below Big Ten teams and non-Big Ten teams that they see. But I'm not sure that those teams are who they're going to see in Las Vegas. Texas is not one of those teams. So there's definitely going to be some bumps. I would love to see at least one win this weekend. Obviously two would be fantastic, but I'm not counting on that.
Yeah.
I think just getting a win over somebody, whether that's against UCLA in the first game or one of the other teams on Sunday, a win of any shape and size. I would take one win, a combined one win from football or basketball. If basketball goes 0-2, but football beats Michigan, I'll take that as well. Like, that's fine.
It's a good thought. That's a very good thought. It's 3 big days for Illini Nation coming up.
I'll
I
take
don't
one
know
win.
if it's still a thing with a couple of these media guys, but there were some that were talking about going to Vegas, covering Friday,
God,
and flying to Detroit
no.
to cover football on Saturday, then back to Vegas on Sunday. I
God,
don't
that
know that
sounds
that's
awful.
smart anymore with where the football team is at, but this is a huge weekend for the Orange and Blue. Um, I I'm somewhat aligning with you. I'm expecting an 0-2 weekend. With so many unknowns with this team still, and facing who they're going to face, whoever it be on Sunday. I'm expecting an 0-2. But if they go 0-2 and lose 2 double-digit games, I'll be a little upset. I think they'll be close. I think
Yeah,
all games will be close. These are 4 good teams. This
yeah,
Vegas Continental Tire main event is a great field. Um, and it's going to be great for Illinois come March. So I'm happy that Illinois is going. I'm happy um, that we've seen what we've seen so far, and that these 3 games haven't been 8 to 10 point games, and instead they've been 30-point games, which they need to be. Um, so this weekend I'm expecting 0-2. So anything better than that, I will take. And even if those 0-2 games are single-digit losses, where Illinois has a chance at the last under 4 media timeout, I will honestly be okay, just because of the roster that this team has is completely new, and this is the first test they faced.
I agree. I'm with you. I don't think you can go into this weekend expecting wins. But if you can expect to play, I think that's where you need to be.
Got your tickets yet? Flight booked?
No.
What hotel you
No.
staying at?
No.
Link? We stayed at the
Bellagio.
Link. It was nice.
Bellagio.
Speaking of Vegas, Garth Brooks residency starts next year.
Oh, got your tickets for that?
Tempting. It's tempting. It's so tempting.
Taylor
All
Swift
right.
tickets go on sale soon. Are you getting your tickets for
I
those?
mean, I would go see her, but it would need to be like ticket would need to be like less than $50. I'm not spending any more
That's
than
not happening.
that.
No.
Okay.
No chance.
No more questions in the chat, so no one wants to talk to us because no one asked us to do this. But we'll see you this weekend. I'm assuming. I don't know that we'll have one on Friday. It's going to be late. I don't know that either of us will want to stay up for that, but we will probably be here Sunday. I would assume we'll be here Sunday, and then we'll go back to our normally regular scheduled Monday recordings of our weekly show where we can talk more about everything that we had this weekend. Anything else from you, Mr. Logan Lee?
No. It's just great to see you. It's great to see
Good to
you as
see you.
always.
You haven't had enough of me yet?
I've seen a lot of
Getting
you
close.
lately.
I know.
A
Getting
lot of you
close.
lately. No. You responded to my text messages today.
I'm getting better. I'm learning.
That's great.
But no,
That's
hold
great.
on. No one wants us to talk about our texting habits. We saw
Real
comments on our
quick,
YouTube.
do you want to address the question you sent me today that has nothing to do with basketball, but do you want to address the Will Ferrell question?
I mean, let's save that for Monday. Let's save that
Okay.
for a normal show.
All right.
That's not
Okay.
Illini
That's fine.
related.
Yeah,
But
who cares?
I will pose the question to the audience: is Will
Nobody
Ferrell
asked.
currently overrated, underrated, or properly rated? Don't need an answer from you, but just think about it. Just think about it and get back to me. So, Illinois wins 103-65 over Monmouth, 3-0 on the season. Impressive tonight. Nearly perfect. I would venture to say it was a nearly perfect basketball game from Illinois tonight in Champaign. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. This will be in podcast form for those of you that didn't catch it live. I don't know why I'm telling the live audience it's going to be a podcast, but whatever. Thanks for listening. I'm Craig. That's Logan. We'll see you next time.
Goodbye.